I'm sorry if I was a little late this evening, but I was stopped by the police on the way here. And this policeman said, "Can you blow into this bag?" I said, "Oh, what for?" He said, "My chips are hot." Now that is a joke, which you may or may not have found funny, because it may or may not have appealed to your sense of humour. Whichever it is, I do hope that I've attracted your attention to my speech this evening, which is to have a little look at the subject of humour. Now, humour can entertain, and it makes us laugh spontaneously, usually, and that in turn makes us feel better, both physically and mentally. And it can be used to provide a moment of light relief, to cover embarrassment or awkwardness, and it can help to establish audience rapport and connection. But the success relies heavily on delivery and timing. A sense of humour is something that defines us as human, and in various forms it has been around forever, changing with the evolution of time, people and intelligence. It's personal to us and to our cultures. Now, one change is that slapstick comedy is not quite so funny these days, except for perhaps with children, but even this only seems to be funny if it's really violent. And some of the old jokes don't really work these days either. For example, a white horse walks into a bar and orders a whiskey. "Oh, the one named after you?" says the barman. "What, Eric?" says the horse. Or a man walks into a bar. It was an iron bar. See, they don't work these days. And neither do really the Englishman, the Irishman, the Scotsman jokes. You don't really hear those. But some old comedy routines do last. Tommy Cooper was a classic because of his delivery and his mannerisms and all his magic tricks going wrong. He had simple, clean material. And he said that in order to learn something new, you should start at the bottom. The trouble is, I want to learn to swim. Now, humour and comedy have always been based around situations and people, covering such topics as race, religion, sex, afflictions, saying shocking things, and openly insulting people. But by laughing with others, we can feel included and safe. Now, British humour tends to be quite dry, yet if people don't understand it, then it can easily offend. Exaggeration and over-the-top ridiculing of a situation helps to transmit the story, and that is also just a joke. Joan Rivers recalls a telephone conversation with her good friend Julie Andrews, who had been told after throat surgery that she may never sing again. Apparently Julie Andrews would call Joan Rivers every day, and this one time she said, "Hello, Joan," and Joan replies, "Hello, Julie." "How do you know it's me? Anyway, they say I may never sing again. What do you think?" And Joan just says, "Sweetheart, whatever you want, you know I'm right behind you." Julie says, "Are you sure? Okay, listen to this. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chimney." Could be quite offensive, because there is a fine line between being intelligent with humour and being offensive. And types of humour that we engage in along these lines are sarcasm and banter, which is rife in British humour. Witty banter is intelligent and clever, while just banter can be teasing or bullying with an excuse. Now, nicknames are classic examples. I knew of somebody who had great big sticky out ears and was called Wingnut. And a female admin officer in the RAF was called Emu. She was a big, ugly bird who couldn't fly. And nobody was offended because there was no intention to hurt, just to be witty or funny. But it could have been taken as being offensive. Now, sense of humour is something that defines us as as whatever was funny a few years ago might now be deemed offensive or politically incorrect. Indeed, there are some comedians who say that they've had to give up their business because their material is not suitable or usable these days. And most stand-up comedians have had to resort to self-deprecating humour or game shows, where they make fun of themselves in order not to offend others, or they take a simple, everyday situation which everyone can relate to and highlight a ridiculous aspect. Or they might just set out to shock their audience, who laugh because they're embarrassed. For example, we've all had parcels delivered by a white van man, or not. Do you know what the interview process is? Did you play Knockout Ginger as a kid? If the answer is yes, then they're immediately hired. Now, we rely a lot on irony, where we highlight that something is different or opposite from what we expect. We go off down one road, and to be abruptly turned down another one. And much of modern day humour is of this type, and when combined with wit, it can be very funny. Now, Rowan Atkinson is a master of irony and deadpan, and he delivers his comedy through speech, acting, mime, body language, facial expressions, and of course, timing. Innuendo, or double entendre, is another form of humour, where we say things deliberately that could be taboo, often around sex, or that are easily misunderstood, yet are not directly offensive or rude. And one can then remove oneself from the responsibility by saying, "That's your dirty mind," or "Whatever do you mean?" For example, he went round shoving a cucumber through the letterbox, shouting, "Watch out, missus, the Martians have landed!" Or, "Sybil enjoyed her meat and two veg every Saturday night." Finally, there's the use of puns or wordplay. We love to hate them, as they're so bad, but they then become funny, and usually we groan rather than laugh. Or laugh because we want to appear amused or show recognition of the ploy. And this is a form that we will all come across soon as we pull our Christmas crackers. Classic demonstration of wordplay and other elements has to be the two Ronnies sketch, Four Candles, as it's become known, or is that Four Candles? And here the misunderstanding of an everyday shopping list takes us all down one road before abruptly taking us on to the correct one. And humour is not to be dissected and explained. It loses its impact. Alice Tinker in the Vicar of Dibley joke at the end of the programme is a really good example of how explaining a joke kills it, but that in itself can then become funny. Do you know, remember? What do you call a budgie run over by a lawnmower? I don't know. What do you call a budgie run over by a lawnmower? Shredded tweet! Alice doesn't get it, of course. Oh, so the poor budgie's dead. Yes. Shredded tweet. Oh, poor thing. He never saw the lawnmower coming. He could not know that death was just around the corner. Alice, I'm not going to tell you these jokes anymore if you keep responding like this. It was not a real budgie or a real lawnmower, it was just a joke. Oh, so the budgie's not dead. No, it never got born. Oh, it never got born. No, Alice, look, get out now. And I need to get out now. I hope humour will never be lost. Laughter is, after all, said to be the best medicine, probably delivered these days by a little prick.